Hi guys, so in today's video we'll be looking into the chapter Governor from Lakshmikant. So before you watch this video, I request you to read the chapter of Governor from Lakshmikant. It will be more clear for you. Okay, so when we look at the state executive, we have at the top is the governor, and in the executive we have the council of ministers, and in the legislature we have legislative assembly and legislative council. Okay, so articles 153 and 167 in part 6 of the constitution deals with the state executive. Governor is appointed by the president by warrant under his hand and seal. Okay, he is appointed by the president. And what are the qualifications of the governor? He should be a citizen of India. He should have completed the age of 35 years. He should not belong to the state in which he is appointed. Suppose a person is from Kerala and he cannot be appointed as a governor in the same state that he cannot be appointed in Kerala itself. Okay, the president is required to consult the chief minister of the state concerned. He should not be from any house of the parliament or state legislature. So he cannot be from he cannot be an MP or an MLA. Okay, now important part, the oath of the governor. So the function is similar to that of oath, or the function of the governor is much similar to that of the president. So that is why I am taking this lecture just after the chapter of president. Okay, first one, to faithfully execute the office. And the second one is very similar to that of the president, to preserve, protect, defend the constitution and the law, to devote himself to the service and well-being of the people of the state. The oath is administered by the Chief Justice of the concerned High Court. So in this case it is administered, the oath is administered by the Chief Justice of the concerned High Court of the state. In the case of president, it is the Chief Justice. Okay, the term of the governor is actually 5 years. However, the term of the governor is subject to the pleasure of the president. So whenever the president feels that the governor is not working according to his will, he can dismiss him. Okay, he has no security of tenure. Okay, and no fixed term of office. He may be removed by the president anytime. He can hold the office beyond his term of 5 years until his successor assumes office. Now we will look into the powers of the governor. First one is executive powers, then we have legislative powers, financial powers, and he also has the power to pardon and discretionary powers also. Okay, now when we look into the executive powers of the governor, the following comes under his executive powers. Every executive action that the state takes is to be taken in his name. How an order that has been taken up by his name is to be authenticated, the rules for the same can be specified by the governor. He may or may not make rules to simplify the transaction of the business of the state government. The chief ministers and other ministers of the states are appointed by him. It is his responsibility to appoint tribal welfare minister in the states of Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha. He appoints the Advocate General of states and determines their remuneration. Okay, he appoints the following people: the state election commissioner, and chairman and members of the state public service commission, vice chancellors of the universities of the state. He seeks information from the state government. A constitutional emergency in the state is recommended and to the president by him. Okay, so constitutional emergency is recommended by the governor to the president. The governor enjoys extensive executive powers as an agent of the president during the president rule in the state. Now another powers, we have the legislative powers. The following are the legislative powers of the governor. Okay, it is his power to prorogue the state legislature and dissolve the state legislative assemblies. He addresses the state legislature at the first session of every year. If any bill is pending in the state legislature, governor may or may not send a bill to the state legislature concerning the same. Okay, And if the Speaker of the Legislative Assembly is absent, another important point is absent, and the same is Deputy Speaker, the Governor appoints a person to preside over the session. The Governor appoints a particular person to preside over the session. Okay. As President nominates 12 members in Rajya Sabha, Governor nominates 1/6 of the total members of the Legislative Council from the fields of literature, science, art, cooperative movement, social service. Okay. LSA CS. LSA. Okay. Somewhat like that. Short forms can be used. LSA CSI. L for literature, S for science, A for art, cooperative movement, social service. Oh, A is not there. I thought over here. Okay, that's my mistake. LSA CS. Okay. And as President nominates 2 members to the Lok Sabha, Governor nominates 1 member to the Legislative Assembly from Anglo-Indian community. Okay, he can consult Election Commission for the disqualification of members. With respect to the bill introduced in the state legislature, he can give his assent, withhold his assent, return the bill, reserve the bill for the President's consideration in instances where the bill introduced in the state legislature endangers the position of the state high court. Okay, now we come to the judicial powers of the governor. The following are the judicial powers and the functions of the governor. He has the following pardoning powers against punishment. First one is pardon, reprieve, respite, remit, commute. The president consults the governor while appointing judges of the high court in consultation with the state government, state high court. Governor makes appointments, postings and promotions of the district judges. In consultation with the state high court and state public service commission, he appoints persons to the judicial services. Now, financial powers of the governor. In the judicial powers also, we have discussed the pardoning powers also. We have discussed the same in the case of president also. There are some differences also. The differences were discussed, if you remember, between the president and the governor in the chapter of president itself. Okay. The following are the financial powers of the functions of the governor. He looks over the state budget being laid in the state legislature. His recommendation is a prerequisite for the introduction of a money bill in the state legislature. He recommends for the demand for grants which otherwise cannot be given. Contingency fund of state is under him, and he makes advances out that to meet unforeseen expenditure. Okay. And state finance commission is constituted from every 5 years by him. Okay. Now, constitutional position of the governor. Article 163 helps the governor to exercise his powers discretionarily. How does this differ from that of president? Okay, this is another important aspect. While the constitution envisages the possibility of the governor acting at times or on his discretion, that is on his own will, such possibility has been envisaged for the president. From the 42nd Amendment, ministerial advice has been made binding on the president, but no such provision has been made with respect to the governor. Now, constitutional discretion. The governor of states can act on their constitutional discretion in the following instances. When they have to reserve the bill for the consideration of the president, governors can decide on their own without the advice of the council of ministers. When he has to recommend for the president's rule in the state, he can act at his own discretion. When he is given an additional charge as administrator of the union territory, he can take actions on his own discretion. When he has to determine the amount payable by the government of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram to an autonomous tribal district council as royalty acquiring from licenses for mineral exploration, he can act discretionarily. When he calls upon the chief minister to seek information regarding administrative and legal affairs. Now, situational discretion of the president, of the governor. Sorry, the governors of state can act at their situational discretion in the following instances. When he has to appoint a chief minister after no party has no clear majority in the election, when the incumbent dies or when the chief minister dies in the office, he can decide who to become or which of the party leadership to come forward. He can ask any party leader to come forward and prove majority. It's according to his will whom he should quote. Okay. When he dismisses a council of ministers on an inability to prove confidence in the state legislative assembly, when he dissolves the state legislative assembly on time, when it loses its majority. Okay. The other situations where the governor, though, has to consult the council of ministers, but finally can act on his own discretion, are when he has to establish development boards for Vidarbha and Matharwada in Maharashtra. These are some of the examples. When he has to establish separate development boards for Surashtra and Kutch in Gujarat, with respect to law and order in the state, for so long as the internal disturbance in Naga Hills, Dasang area continues in Nagaland, with respect to the administration of tribal areas in Assam, also hill areas in Manipur, okay, for peace and social economic advancement in the different sections of the population of Sikkim, with respect to law and order in Arunachal Pradesh, okay, when he has to establish separate development boards in Hyderabad, Karnataka region in Karnataka. Okay, so these are some of the examples of um, the the discretionary powers exercised by the governor. We can see that the discretionary powers of the governor are much greater than that of the president. Okay, president is limited by the advice of the council of ministers, while in the case of governor, no such provision is been given. So with that, I hope today's session was productive for you guys. So until next time we meet again, God bless you all. Jai Hind.